What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 27 of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron. And we have a lot to get into. Second half of the NBA season is here and ready to go. Going to talk about predictions and what to look forward to for the second half of the season, which starts tonight. Also, we'll get into some all NBA All Star Weekend highlights and talk about my thoughts on all the craziness that went on with the dunk contest controversy and the All Star game and the new format, how that worked out. So let's just get right into it. Start with the All Star game festivities. It was a tremendous weekend for the NBA. They put on another great show, and 3-point contest was what came down to literally the last shot between Buddy Hield and Devin Booker. The dunk contest had some controversy with Gordon, with Aaron Gordon again, a couple years ago when he went against Zach LaVine, with Derrick Jones Jr. taking that, and the All Star game with the new format and all that, and how it was tremendous, and it really spiced up the All Star game. But 3-point contest was tremendous. I like the new 3-point ball they had with the green ball. That was a cool aspect. It went down to the last shot. Buddy Hield took that, and that was fun. I always loved the 3-point contest. Just as love seeing guys' forms and seeing great shooters going against other great shooters in a highly intense competition, and to see who's the best shooter, and that's always fun. And then the dunk contest, I thought the right guy won. I know most people are not gonna believe that Derrick Jones was the rightful winner, but especially since Aaron Gordon had all 50 dunks. But to me, I just thought Derrick Jones should have got a 50 to his dunk before that, not Aaron. But it was a fun dunk contest. But it's also getting kind of repetitive. We can only see so many creative dunks, and I always look at, like, I see some of these YouTube dunkers, and these guys who go viral on Instagram and YouTube and all these that we see on a daily basis on social media, and I'm like, why can't they do some of that stuff? Some of these guys are doing dunks that I've never seen before, and I've never seen an NBA player do. So, why can't they try to mix in some of that stuff? I think that's something, that would be unique. I just saw a couple of dunks recently that I'm like, whoa, that would have won the dunk contest, But, we'll see. But, it was a good dunk contest for sure. But, and the three-point contest, not 3-point contest, excuse me. The All-Star game was tremendous. The new format. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but it kind of spiced up the game, and it made it an intense fourth quarter where Team Giannis, Team LeBron won, and Kawhi won the first ever Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP, which I know a lot of guys are probably shooting for, to win that first ever, winning the MVP named after Kobe Bryant for the first time. So I know guys were, I'm sure Kawhi was really ecstatic because, him and Kobe had a good relationship, and a lot of his game is kind of Kobe-like too, which is kind of crazy. But just the whole, how they commemorated Kobe and David Stern and all those people that were lost. They did a good job. Common killed it with the All-Star game, introductories. He was tremendous with that, and it was another great weekend of NBA All-Star. It was tremendous. So, but we have the second half of the season. that's getting underway, and a lot a lot of things have happened recently. You know, I mean, just in the last few days, we could talk about the Brooklyn Nets and good news and bad news. Literally, I'm just seeing rolling across my screen that Kyrie's going to be out for the season. He's going to undergo arthroscopic surgery, and his season's done. But on another note, KD is working, and and he looks good, and so that's a positive sign. Obviously, losing Kyrie is a negative, but getting having KD getting on the right track for next season is definitely a plus for them. But obviously, the Kyrie stuff is tough. He's been having shoulder issues, and he's had a lot of injuries this year. You know, but the shoulder's been a huge thing, and he's officially out for the season. He's going to undergo shoulder surgery. The Nets, this obviously it was never about this season. I've talked about this numerous times. It was never about this season, but I can also see this as a while some fans might looked at this as a negative, it could be a positive in a way too, because now they're most likely going to be a playoff team, because the bottom of the Eastern Conference is weak from 7 on down. So they could still make the playoff. They have enough talent to grab playoff spot. But this could be good for their guys like Caris LeVert and Jared Allen, and Spencer. They this could be a positive for them, so they can get that playoff experience. So when it's go time for next year, and their expectations are heightened that much further, that they're going to be ready to go. So yes, there's a negative. You lose Kyrie, but it gives the young guys, they're going to get that opportunity to get more playoff experience, like some of the guys had last year, and take that and build off that for next season. So when Kyrie's 100% and KD's 100% and they're ready to go to try to represent the Eastern Conference in the finals, they got guys ready to go. So that's a tough. It's not the season Nets fans wanted, but the main thing is right now KD's looking good. So and he'll be ready to go for next season. Kyrie's going to get the surgery done now, which is smart. No need to rush him back. Let him get healthy for next season. And next year is going to be a whole different feeling, a whole different experience, and a whole different expectations are going to be on Brooklyn. So, it's tough, but you gotta, Kyrie's got to get this done. And this could be a positive, so we'll see with that. Another situation I want to talk about was, there were a coaching hire that I quite didn't get at all, and I think most people didn't get this hire. Obviously, we're talking about John Beilein. When the Cleveland hired him, it was kind of like a head scratcher, and I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense. I mean, this is a guy who's almost 70 years old. He's actually his birthday is the day after mine. Almost 70 years old. Had some success at Michigan, went to a couple national championship games, but it just didn't make sense. The fit did not make any sense. I understand he's Cleveland likes to go after these big name coaches, but this one just never made sense from the jump. I know he worked with young kids in Michigan, and he's helped build that program from dealing with all the the sanctions and lost scholarships to making them a respectable program. It just wasn't his style of coaching with today's NBA players was just never gonna work, and it just it's not surprising that he gave it quits. He gave up after after what, less than 60 games coaching. There was rumors that he immediately regretted, after the first handful of games that he immediately regretted taking the job. Um, that was that's a bad job by Cleveland. It was a bad job by John to taking his job, because I just never understand how it was a good fit, and I don't know how people around him be saying it's a good fit. I know he probably had a dream of coaching the NBA, but also make sure that this is the right job, right situation, and it just wasn't the right fit. It didn't make any sense, and players, obviously the situation with the Thugs thing, and he meant slugs, and that's what happens when you have an older coach. It doesn't. This is different from college. You're dealing with guys who make triple your salary. Some of these, Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love are making more money than you are in college. These guys aren't making any money, and you're making. So you could have more of a say. You're not going to be able to run it like a dictatorship in the pros. 14-40 record. They were not. They were got the second worst record in the NBA, worst record in the Eastern Conference. They just looked so bad. But he lost the team, and I think he lost the team from the jump. I'm reading a report that he was thinking about practicing on Christmas Day. Like, really? You want to do that to you guys? Now, I understand you want to change the culture. Have them win, have them be, bring more toughness to them. But this ain't it. This isn't how you do it. Um, he had the sixth shortest coaching tenure ever for a team. You know, it's crazy. Like I said, never ever understood that hire. Just a bad hire by Cleveland, and that's their fourth coach in the last year. Firing Tyronn Lue, interim coach, Beeline, and now they're going to get another interim coach. It's four coaches in a year, and you're going to have a fifth one probably, unless uh, Bickerstaff does a good job. Feels like Bickerstaff is always gets the interim jobs. Is it me, or does anyone else get that feeling? That I always feel like Bernie Bickerstaff uh, always is the interim coach after someone gets fired. But man, it's bad. It's bad in Cleveland. It's bad. It may be worse than when LeBron first left. This is bad. Um, they've made a lot of bad decisions. You know, Giving Kevin Love an extension, the coaching hires, obviously. Some of the trades, drafting Darius Garland when they already had Colin Sexton. Just some bad decisions that they've made, and they just made another one. And you know, it shows that bad management can hurt a team. I understand LeBron's gone, but just because he's gone doesn't mean you just put your tail underneath it. Yeah, whatever that stupid saying is. I don't even know the right saying, but you know what I'm saying. You know, just forget how to run a basketball team. You gotta be able to make good moves and stuff. And they just don't know. If LeBron's not on the team, they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's crazy. But this is what Cleveland. This is what Cleveland has been. All the year that he was gone, And then the year and a half that he's been gone, it's been disastrous for them. And you got to hope that they could figure it out. But they're gonna have another coach. Man, that hurts. That hurts chemistry. That's tough. But they're gonna have a big decision with Kevin Love. I'm pretty sure Kevin Love will not be on this team next year. But it's gonna be tough to get rid of that contract too. But I think they'll find a way to get rid of him because uh that they just they don't know what they're doing. They really just don't know. But we'll see who they'll go after this time. They should have never got rid of Tyronn Lue. They should have just let him rock, let him coach the team. But they fired him abruptly. Didn't make sense to why they fired him. Didn't give him a chance to try to develop this team. Just bad decisions, bad decisions on bad decisions. So we'll see how they respond. I know they like Bickerstaff. He relates more to the players. He's been around the game a while. I think he'll command their respect. So we'll see. But it's another dark day for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the post LeBron era. But we'll see. The second half of the season starting today. A lot of a lot of scenarios that can happen seeding wise, and can the Lakers will the Lakers be able to stay up top? They have played tremendous basketball. LeBron's playing great, AD's playing great. They're MVP candidates, but it's interesting to see. Clippers have made some moves. They got Marcus Morris from the Knicks, and adding Reggie Jackson. They just got from Detroit. He got bought out by Detroit. See how he fits. But and seeing Denver, how Denver will how they fit. Are they really a top tier team, Denver? Can they continue their success? They've played great. They've done it without having without having superstars. Joker. The Joker has definitely risen, but he's not a superstar yet. But yet they're a 2 seed and they're only 4 games back. Can the Clippers stay healthy? Utah, so Utah surprising and with their rise, to be one of the best teams, and they're only a game and a half behind the 2 seed, behind Denver. Can Memphis, can Memphis keep it going and keep Portland out of there? Because to me, you can never count out the Spurs, but I don't see it with the Spurs this year. But Memphis right now has a 4-game lead on Portland, 5 on the Spurs, and 5.5 on the Pelicans. Those are the teams that can, and even if you want to count Phoenix and Sacramento, they're 6 and 6.5 games behind. Can it happen? Maybe. But Memphis, the way they're playing right now, they've won either their last 10 games, 2 in a row they've won, heading into the second half of the season. Can Ja Morant not have that rookie wall? A lot of rookies go through that rookie wall. He has not yet fully went through that. And I think one of the most shocking things is that they're only a game under 500 on the road. And for a young team like that, that's pretty impressive that they're just a game below 500 on the road. Because if you play 500 ball on the road and you're above 500 on the at home, you're a playoff team most likely. And right now they're playing like that. I mean, Portland is a porous road team. Same thing with San Antonio. The Pelicans are surprisingly, the Pelicans are not a good home team. But it's hard to judge the Pelicans because Zion's only playing 10 games. Because if Zion had played most of the season, if Zion was good from the jump, to me, the Pelicans, we'd be talking about the Pelicans, maybe where Dallas is or Oklahoma. I think you could flip their record around, and they, instead of 23 wins, they're 32 wins. I'm pretty certain that's the case because Zion has made an impact on this team, and they have good pieces around them. So, that's that's going to be an interesting to see those young teams and how they come out. Portland's obviously been a huge disappointment this year. Huge disappointment. I had them as a playoff team. Obviously not going to the Western Conference Finals, but I still had them in a playoff team. And they have been a massive disappointment. Now, they've had injuries and, not having Nurkic and, you knew they would be a decline, but to this extent, I don't think anyone saw this, them being under 500 and a non-playoff team right now. Just not playing, up to their level. They played better of late, but they ended the first half of the season losing 2 in a row. So, it's going to be exciting to see how Memphis does and see if they can hold on to that 8 seed. And it's going to be fun to see. It would be a fun round one between them and the Lakers just to see, that matchup. Obviously, the Lakers would be the favorite, but that would be that's gonna be a fun round one. But this is it's the second half is gonna be tremendous. Just to see all the possible playoffs matchups because we could see some upsets too. 2-7. If we were to go, let's start with the West right now. Playoff scenarios. We go Lakers versus Memphis. Obviously, I would take the Lakers to win that, maybe possibly even in a sweep. But man, people want to see Ja in the playoffs. Ja in the playoffs and that young, hungry squad, that could be a possible, how the Warriors, I'm not saying that they're going to take a step and win a championship, but that could possibly be a situation in which they could take that next level. While the Warriors did that first year when they made the playoffs, and I can't recall who they played in the first time, but they gave them a fight, and then they went on to have went to 5 straight finals, but and then to see possible Denver versus Dallas, that Denver is a better team, but you wouldn't be shocked to see Luka in the playoffs healthy if he's healthy. See how Porzingis does in the big stage. That would be fun, and you would not be surprised if Dallas comes out of that series and beats Denver because of the Luka effect. That wouldn't be surprised. Clippers versus OKC. That might be this one series where you're like, okay, that might be that might be a series where it's that sweet, and it might not be that competitive. But the fact that Oklahoma City's even in this spot, I don't think anyone had Oklahoma City. I know I didn't have them as a playoff team. And they're they're a 6 seed, right? And they're only a game and a half behind for the 5th seed. 3.5. For only 5 games out of the 2 seed. And then Utah versus Utah versus Houston is that would be a fun series. You got an explosive Rockets team against a very good defensive Utah team. That'll be fun. So there's some good matchups we could see. With some good young players. Going on that stage. I mean, that's so much fun to watch. I love to see the young guys take that next level. That's tremendous. And in the East, obviously Milwaukee is just dominating, unlike we've seen in a while, in a few years. Um, Miami's made some moves. They picked Miami. They've made moves so to bolster their team. And Toronto won what they won 15 in a row. They're another surprise team. The fact that they're 40-15. I mean, I'm not having playoff team. I'm sorry, Toronto. I am sorry, Toronto, that I doubted you guys. But you guys have played out of your freaking mind. Out of your freaking mind. The Sixers are a disappointment. But I think they'll be better than the second half. Hopefully they work on that offense. Indiana, hopefully Oladipo's back to being Oladipo. Right now let's go to the East. Bucks Magic. Yeah. I think we know who wins that. Toronto, Brooklyn. Maybe if Kyrie was playing, we could possibly see maybe an upset, but we probably won't. Toronto probably would win that series. Celtics and Indiana. If Oladipo is healthy, I wouldn't be shocked if we see an upset here. I know Boston has played great basketball of late, and they had, Tatum's an all-star, which I'm super happy. Duke Blue Devil, the Brotherhood. Kemba, they have 2 all-stars. But if Oladipo gets back, we saw him last time when he was in Indiana and they played the Cleveland Cavaliers. They gave him everything. I think that series went 7. Oladipo was his coming out party. If he can get healthy for the playoffs, watch out. And then I think this might be the best series, the most intense series out of East or West. If we get Miami versus the Sixers, man, I'm going to watch every game because that is going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out 7-game series that probably will go 7 games. The intensity, the technical fouls, the physicality, Jimmy Butler going against his old team. That is going to be a fight. I hope it stays put and we get Miami versus 76ers in round 1 because that is going to be a fight. That is going to be a fight. I can't wait. That has some 90s basketball feel to it, and that's something I'm all for. That physicality. That is going to be tremendous if we can get that first round series, and I'm all for that. All for that. If we get that. So let's make that happen. That's my wish. Give me Miami versus the Philadelphia 76ers round 1. I'm watching every game. I don't care what the series is going on. I don't care what else is going on. Give me that, and you got me. And you got me. Because that's going to be fun. And I hope that goes 7. If that goes 7, man, that's going to be a fight. That is going to be a fight that I want to see. And there literally might be fights. There might be. There's gonna be some scuffling, So that's something. That's something to look forward to, for sure. But I just saw on my screen Marvin Bagley is gonna miss more time. He's had a tough sophomore season. Obviously, being a blue. Let me say that a little. Rewind. Let me say that again. Being a Duke Blue Devil fan, excuse me. I root for all the Blue Devils. I hope they all have success. But he's had a tough second, and I still believe in him. I still believe in him. Ingram I could relate this to Brandon Ingram. It took Brandon some time, some injuries, but for him to find the game's groove. He was an All Star in year 4, but for Marvin, it's been tough. Been a tough year. A lot of injuries. He's had a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks, and obviously he's always going to be compared to the guys that were drafted after him. Trae Young, Luka. We're all stars. They're all star caliber players. No, all star caliber. They are all stars, and for Luka, he's going to be in the MVP discussion. He'll finish in the top 5 in MVP this year, most likely. Trae Young's almost a 30 and 10 guy. But it's always gonna be there that why did Sacramento pass up on? I agreed. I thought Marvin should have been number 1. I thought Marvin Bagley was the best player in the draft, and Luka was 2. I thought they were the 2 best players in the draft. They should have been the top 2 picks in the draft, in my opinion. Obviously, that's not looking as good. But when Marvin has played, he doesn't lack talent. Marvin Bagley does not lack talent. He's just gotten hurt. And I just hope fans, Sacramento and just NBA fans, obviously the Luka thing, he's played out of his word, Trae Young, but I hope we can still have patience for Marvin because he's super talented. We cannot take that away that he is not a talented individual, but injuries have hurt him. But the same way it hurt Ingram his first few years in the league, and look at him now, how he's matured. Also, it's a situation where you get drafted. He's not, it's not the best organization from the front office right now. They haven't put the best pieces around it, even though I did think they would take that next level this year and be a playoff team because of Marvin. I thought Marvin would take that next level and be a 2010 guy. The way Luka has taken that next level and the way Trae is taking that next level. But, he's had another setback. He's going to be out for a month. I just want him to be healthy. I just want him to be healthy so he can prove guys wrong and prove that he is going to be a great player because he's still young. I mean, technically, he should be. Should be his rookie in the league because he reclassified. If people remember, he reclassified when he went to Duke. Well, technically, he should be. It should be his year 1 in the league. So he still has a lot of room to grow. I just hope they stay patient with him in Sacramento and everyone else stays patient because I still believe he has all the tools to be a tremendous player. And we could be talking about in a couple of years or maybe next year how he's an all-star. Same way we did with Brandon. People wrote off Brandon Ingram. They said, "Oh man, he is what he is. He's just a skinny, a poor man's KD." And I'm not saying he's KD, but that was people were saying. But he showed he's a bucket. It was an all-star sheet, averaging 25 points a game. If they had Zion, man, they'd be talking about him, possible MVP discussions. So, be patient, guys. Be patient. Be patient with my guy Bags, because I think he's still going to be a tremendous player. Let's just get him healthy, stay healthy, get him healthy, and hopefully, if he comes back for this season, has a strong end of season, let's hope for that, and then build off that, and hopefully he can have a good year 3 in the league. So I want to transition to my beloved New York Knickerbockers, and we've made some changes. Obviously they got rid of Steve Mills, and they have hired Steve Stout and made some, to try to change the image of the New York Knicks. And obviously he didn't go off to his greatest start. with the we went on ESPN and he was talking about uh talking about the new coach. We're gonna have new coaches, and kind of dismissing what Mike Miller has done, because Mike Miller has done a great job with what he's been dealt with. He's obviously won more games than Fizdale did, and he's he didn't have a good start to his tenure as for working for the Knicks. Poor interview, but that's not his. That wasn't his. That wasn't his right environment. He's not a official Knicks official Knicks front office guy. He's just kind of a branding guy. Trying to help make the Knicks cooler, I guess, because we've been considered not a cool team anymore. So he'd had a poor interview, poor interview to say the least. But and it didn't make the Knicks look good. Obviously the Knicks aren't going to look good no matter what, because we are the New York Knicks and we have the worst record, one of the worst one of the worst records in the league for the last 20 years. At least bottom 5 worst records, maybe top 3 worst records. So it was not a good start for that Steve Stout and all that, but that's not his that's not his forte. And I kind of whoever was in charge of setting that up, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have let that happen. But apparently now Leon Rose is going to take over the New York Knicks basketball operations. Now, it's obviously been reported that he's most likely going to take it, but it still hasn't been official. Still hasn't been official, but it's leaning towards that. And obviously, Leon Rose is an agent. He was a former agent. He was LeBron James' agent, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony. He did Carmelo's deal when he was a free agent with the Knicks. But he's never been in charge of a front office. He's never worked in the front office. He's been an agent, and we have to see if the transition will work. Being an agent to being in front office, it's worked for some teams. Rob Pelinka and it's Gold State. I can't think of the guy off the top of my head, but it's worked for them. But it doesn't mean it's going to work for the Knicks, because we are the New York Knicks. So we'll see. If because we all know what can happen. Things can change. Deals can't fall through. But most likely he will be the new in charge of the Knicks, and he's rarely respected around the league. And I do like the fit, because I think he can branch that relationship between with players and create an environment where guys are going to want to come here. And that's the biggest thing, is trying to get guys to come here and improve on the culture. And he's gonna have the opportunity. We got some cap space next year. We're gonna have a possible top 5 pick. So he's got things to work with. So hopefully he can do the job and finally get this thing on. It's obviously people want a Masai Ujiri. That would have cost you draft picks and stuff. And there's no guarantee that what Masai did in Toronto is going to translate to New York. We like to think it would. He's made some tremendous decisions, tremendous decisions, big time decisions, tough decisions, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work. It doesn't mean it's going to work here. So only time will tell. Only time will tell. The Knicks. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because we just want a competitive team. Want a competitive team, and they played some good basketball before the last couple games before the break, where they played some good basketball, but struggled at the end. And but it's we'll see how we'll see how they play the second half of the season, and hopefully, we'll see how RJ progresses. He looked good in that rookie game. He had some talent around him. He was a leading scorer. Obviously, he hasn't got the love or the shine as Ja and Zion and some other guys, but hopefully, guys like him and Kevin Knox and I don't know what's going on with Dennis Smith Jr. If he's even salvageable. Hopefully he is. He's still a young player. But if the young guys on the Knicks can improve, hopefully RJ could take what he can. I hope the Knicks give him more of a run at just let him be their prime. Somehow let him get more be the primary ball handler at times. I know they got Elfrid Payton and Elfrid Payton's played great of late, but sometimes you need to put your best players and give them just let them handle the ball. I think RJ needs to get more touches. Be the focal point. Be a playmaker. Gives him more opportunities to drive to the hole. Which is his strength. And so we'll see what I'll do, and then obviously how they finish. They've I want them to be competitive. It's easy for me. It's easy for Knicks fans to say just tank, but man, we've gone through this so much. There's no guarantee we'll get the number one pick, and it's not. It's like I talked with my previous guest, Matt Babcock. It is a great. It is. There's some good guys in this draft, but it's probably not as. It's not star studded. So you're not gonna. There is no Zion. There's not. I don't even know if there's an R.J. Barrett, unless you want to count Anthony Edwards that way. Maybe similar players, but there's no John Morant. I mean, it is a guard-focused draft, and I think they have to really look at some of these guards for this draft. I don't think Dennis Smith Jr. is in their plans for the future. He just hasn't shown that. Elfrid Payton is not the future. So you really don't have any guards, unless you want to count, and other than RJ, that are going to be a part of your future. So to me, if you don't want to have RJ as your primary ball handler, which I think they should start thinking about, and let him have the ball more and create the offense, you're gonna have to look at one of these guards. It's rich with guards in this draft. A lot of good combo guards and stuff, but it's something they're gonna have to really think about the next. We got some time before the draft, and once the draft comes, I'm gonna have hopefully have Matt back on the show, and then some other draft guys, and talk more about the draft as we get closer. But I don't know how I'm going to look at if you look at this Knicks team for the second half. I don't know what I want. Do you want them to win? Do you want them to lose? Obviously we're tired of losing, but they already got 38 losses. So at this point, whatever happens at this point. I'm not going to root for them to lose all these games. I'm not going to root for them to win. Whatever happens, just happens, and getting ready for next season almost with this team, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens. And hopefully they bring back Oak. That's the fourth thing they have. They better bring back Oak. I know he lost his case with James Dolan. Free Oakley, please. Come on, Dolan. Free Oak. But you know, NBA's back for the second half. Excited to watch these games. Minus the team, my New York Knicks. But a lot of games on the help today. Going to be an exciting second half of the season. I have a I have a I might have another show this weekend. I might have another show this weekend. Follow me on the social media to find out if there's gonna be a show this week. But I have a lot of great guys. Like I got some good guests. I got some good guests lined up for these next couple of weeks. Some former pro basketball players. Guys played overseas. I got some guys lined up. Some beat writers, some fellow other podcasters and stuff. So got a lot. It's gonna be like I said, my one of my main goals 2020 was to expand the show and create more content and have more guests and try to get some athletes on the show and some insiders. And I started and I feel like I've worked on that and I've obtaining that goal, and that goal is just going to keep getting bigger and it's going to keep growing and growing. And I'm just so I got Matt Babcock, which is a huge, and I'm so happy I was able to get him on the show. So honored. I was happy he was on. With all his knowledge of basketball and all his experience with all his family, working in front offices. But I have a lot of good stuff coming on. A lot of good stuff is happening. Uh, Next week I got a few shows lined up. This weekend I might have one. Also, just building. I got a new logo in the works, which I'm really excited about how it's coming out. It's coming out great so far. Hopefully I'll have that. And I'm working on getting a website going. Just rebranding, retooling all of my social media so it's give it some sparkle, some brightness. Try to make it as cool as possible. Working on some possible merchandise, which is something I'm really excited about. But that'll be with time. But I love the progression of the show. I love the support I've gotten. I've got some people who've loved the interviews I've done with the especially the last interview I did with Matt, and got great reviews with that. And some of my other guests, that I've gotten on the show, shout out to Mondo. You know, we got some good things. Got good things in the horizon with Mondo. He'll be back. I know people really love listening to him, and the other the other podcasts that I've done. And I'm excited. I'm excited about what's coming for the show. Got some big things in store for the show. Like I said, I appreciate all the support. Go follow on all social media platforms. Go follow on Instagram, the Off the Ball Pod on Instagram, on Twitter. I got a Facebook page. Go listen to the show on Spotify, on Google Podcast, on Anchor. The Anchor's been really tremendous for me. Um, uh, Apple Podcast, any podcast platform you listen to, I appreciate it. The show's growing little by little. Take it. We're taking baby steps, but I love the progression that's going. And like I said, it the show's it's I just love the direction where the show's going. So but it's all because of people who listen to the show, the people who support the show. share, subscribe. That's the best way. People ask me, how can I help the show? I was like, listen to the show, subscribe, tell people about the show. That's the best way you could support me right now. That's how I know that I'm getting the support, and I'm seeing a lot of it. I appreciate all of it. And like I said, big things are coming for the show with a lot. We got a lot of good things in store. I'm excited about this. Once again, go follow on all platforms. Go follow on all social media platforms, and stay tuned. Might have an episode this weekend, so stay tuned on the Off the Ball podcast. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.